likely have the lead in it. I think it's already been mentioned to avoid jewelry. And then just make sure that you keep up on the recalls. As Brian said, he was able to buy a Curious George puppet that was recalled already, and so you may have already purchased some things for your children that have since been recalled. And so you can check that list at the Consumer Product Safety Commission website, cpsc.gov, or you go to kidsindanger.org, and we also have links to that information. But I'll see if any of the panel wants to add to any of those ideas.
.org is a good website. IllinoisHerb.org. We also have information, and we also have just these tips. It doesn't tell you which toys to avoid, but it provides just basic common sense tips to be thinking about when you're shopping.
Thanks, Brian. Are there other questions?
I have one about this year. Corporations, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, that have the toys that they give to the children for the little meals. Are those toys tested? Are the corporations being asked whether those toys have been tested for later that they're giving out?
The companies will tell you that they're testing the products before they give them out. I know, for instance, and I hate to say anything good about McDonald's, but they do have a very stringent testing program. They've in fact developed some dummies that I think they then donated to the Consumer Product Safety Commission to check for choking hazards on their toys. I think they did. Someone recently had a bobblehead doll that was recalled for lead, so it's not as if they're free of any hazards, but at least they say, and I think you can go to any of those websites, especially now when it's so much in the news, and they'll tell you what they do to test their toys.
And well, and also I just wanted to mention, I described the legislation, there were more provisions, so going forward also, if this legislation passes out of the House and becomes law, it requires independent testing and certification of children's products. So right now we're testing the companies to do the right thing. This would require companies to have their products certified by a third party, independent party, or their own lab that's also certified to make sure that they are actually meeting the standards and would make sure that the lead would not be in the products that they're selling.
And that's a good point. At this point, there is no requirement that any of these manufacturers test their products for safety before they're sold. So whether it's the toys, the books, the cribs, the stroller, there is no requirement by the U.S. government that they test those products. And that's one of the things that we're most wanting to address through this legislation. Are there other questions?
I'm Sarah Tucson, Program Director for Kids in Danger. Congressman Rush, I really want to thank you for being a leader on this important and pressing issue. And I was happy to see that your legislation incorporates the language from Jan Schakowsky's bill about durable or testing standards for durable infant products. And I wanted to know, especially given what we were talking about tonight and that the shopping season is upon us, is it possible to extend that language to toys, to use the voluntary testing standards in that same way for toys?
Well, this legislation is a delicate piece of work, as you know, and almost anything is possible, but whether or not it really, we can get it out of the committee, full committee, and out of the House and Senate to the Senate, that's where we are having some issues. We've got to have a bipartisan approach, and so we're doing all that we can with, we're pushing the envelope, but we can't push it off the table. We have to make sure that we bring some of the Republicans along with us. And so far we've been successful, we're continuing to try.
Yeah, so as many of those legislators who prepare from constituents to support Congressman's legislation and make it as strong as possible, I think would help him and help all of us. Do we have any other questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, I think I'll turn it over to Congressman Rush for some closing comments then, and thank you all for attending.
Question. Go ahead. Well, Mrs. Mom, hearing about this meeting and also hearing about this legislation that you're trying to get through Congress, because I do believe strongly that we need to have our government get behind, you know, it just can't be this way. Industry policing itself doesn't work. But I'd also like to add, and you made your tips, the 12 tips for toy shopping, and my grandmother's concerned. She's out there in Walmart, party, and she sees thousands of toys all around her. I would like to have another little tip, and that is you should be able to ask questions. There should be a knowledgeable person there. You can go and ask questions. If you're looking on the box, and they right now don't have any requirement saying that everything has to be labeled where it's made, you should be able to find a store personnel, person who can find out that information for you. So if you come into my store, we actually have our front counter. We put out a catalog, and you can look at every product in that catalog where the country board, and we also have been assembling statements from companies and actual lab safety reports on the toys. This doesn't mean that things don't happen. As a matter of fact, we made a front page. Not good. I'm Trim, our Godzilla, he got yanked. He's out of there, you know? We sent him back. But I was also at a little trip guide who went around, and he had one of those little lead tests or something. He said, why did you test all your toys for lead? Well, the little zapper cost $35,000, which is not exactly what the grandmother could afford. She's out shopping. And that's not necessarily foolproof. But when he was in doing things, I had more all over my shelves. I was horrified to learn that I'm sure I think we all thought. We thought lead had been out of paint for 30 years. We thought that was a concern in the 70s. You know? So it was horrifying to me because I